The following is a segment from Session 10 of the Honestly Better Mental Fitness Show. If you would like a list of all the segments and the full sessions, please visit honestlybetterfitness.com/list. That's honestlybetterfitness.com/list.
Welcome to LH Industrial, Honestly Better Mental Fitness. I found mental fitness a few years ago, and it changed my life. It's changed my family's life. And now we're bringing it to all of LH Industrial to put it out to the rest of the world. Thank you for joining us.
Number 4 is respecting differences. I think we hit on this one a little bit earlier, so maybe we'll go quickly over here. But it's about embracing our differences. I brought in the refrigerator magnet saying like opposites attract and then attack, right? And it's like we are attracted to this person because they're opposite to us and they have these things that we don't have. But then we get into the relationship with them, and then we stop valuing them and we start resenting them. And I think not just tolerating differences, but embracing the differences and remembering that the different perspective is why you chose them. And I think there's this deep thing of love you brought in earlier, Mike. Love is to like see somebody as they are and fully embrace them, like to see and embrace someone as they are. And I think that is this beautiful thing. And I would bring in even when it's let's call it not healthy. I don't know quite the right word, but something like that. Like there's things like, introvert, extrovert, and it's not healthy or unhealthy to be one. It's just differences, right? But then there's things that might not be. Like there's things that would be difficult. Someone has some deep emotional wound that they're not able to work through. A lot of times people fall into two buckets, right? It's like, don't take away my freedom, don't tell me what to do, or don't leave me alone, stay close to me. Like something like that, right? Like it's this, how do I feel love or not feel loved? It's like, abandonment, neglect is my biggest nightmare, or is my biggest nightmare being smothered and micromanaged and lost control? Like there's these two buckets right there. And so it's accepting them as they are and knowing that we can't do anything to change them. Like we can't do it for them. Earlier in my career, at first, it was figuring out like how to help people. Like, people bring these problems and these things, and then it's figuring out like help. The struggle was to find out the solution, and then pretty quickly I got real good and real fast. Like I could nail it. Like boom, this is the problem. Here you go. And then I would say it like, and it reminds me of the book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of the people that are asking for the meaning of life all the time. And they're like, what's the meaning of life? And they're like, I would tell you, but you wouldn't understand it, and it wouldn't even make any sense to you. And they're like, oh, tell us. And they go the whole movie of like, tell us the meaning of life to these aliens or something like that. They're like, oh, finally in the end. And they're like, okay, it's 42. And I'm like, what? Like the meaning of life is 42. Like, doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? Oh man. And it's like, I guess we're gonna have to go discover it for ourselves, right? And then they move on. They're all frustrated. And this is a bit of my experience of that person. Like I say it, I'm like, oh dude, I got it. Like 2 hours into working with someone in a 5-day period, I'm like, dude, it's 42. Like you just go for it. Like they're like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense. No, that's not it. 5 days of deep work later, they emerge out of this, thing of like, I figured it out. I got it. It's 42. It's been sitting there my whole life. And it's like, I'm like, what? And there is this thing of like, we can't do it for somebody, like accepting who they are and where they are on their journey and loving them through it. And knowing that we have blind spots and weaknesses and emotional wounds and all those things as well, and be able to accept and embrace those differences, and to know that we have no power over another human being. And if we did, we wouldn't like them. Like we were saying, Mike, if someone just did everything that I told them to do, I probably wouldn't like them or respect them, right? Like I like that they challenge me, they make me grow, they make me think in different ways. And so to accept and embrace someone as they are is powerful. I have a funny video that we is not currently working. So maybe I'll talk about it in a second. I think sometimes in like couples work, they come in like trying to fix their partner. And my guidance is always to turn it around. Like, are you the best you possible? And the answer is always like, oh no. I want you to fix my partner, and they need to do well, they need to, but you can't do anything about them. And the thing that you can do something about is you, and you're not willing to work on you, but you're upset that they're not willing to work on them, right? And it's like, how do you be the best you possible? I would say all the trying and the fixing, and trying to fix in the world doesn't work. What does work is being the best you possible for you, not for them. It's almost like you go to a restaurant or something like that, and you're kind to the waiter or the waitress, and you're kind because you want to be kind, because it's the type of person that you want to be. And oh, by the way, you do that, then they're kind back to you. Like, you get better service at the restaurant. They do things like that. But if you are kind because you're trying to get something for them, people are smart. They can sniff it out. They know. And so if you're trying to change because you're trying to change you to change them, it won't work. When you change you because it's who you want to be and you become a better human being, you create space for them. This desire opens up in them. They want to move to your level, to match you, to meet you, to move with you in that place, to not be left behind. And that's not always, right? And a lot of times there's a time gap. Like, I moved and then they're not, but then a lot of times they move and sometimes they don't move. And maybe that is the end of the relationship because they're not there. But a lot of times I see, like, the way to move is I'm trying to get this person to move and this person's trying to get to that person to move, and neither one of them move. But when this one just moves, then the other's like, oh, wait, okay, I'm coming too. And then they move, and then this person moves and that person moves. It's almost like there's this built-in mechanism with us of, like, when we genuinely do the right thing because it's the right thing, then good things happen around us, versus when we're trying to do something in there to stimulate a response in another person. You can't change them. You can only change you. And in changing you, they often choose to change with you. Pursue being the best you possible because it's who you want to be. Is there room for you to improve? You being the best you, strictly for you, invites them to be the best them. I would also put in here this concept of boundaries. And I think this goes back to the being willing to let go of the relationship. Because if there's nothing you're willing to let go of the relationship over or for, or you don't know what those are, you're blind to them, because there always is. There's always something that someone can do in a relationship that would make you say, nope, I'm over and done. And knowing the difference between the things that are true boundaries and the things that are wishes, desires, I think is important. And being able to hold those. This goes back to the resentment. Like, okay, like, I'm here that you want this or need this from me, but I can't do this without resenting you or resenting myself for doing this. And being willing to sit with that conflict and discussion. There's this thing about, like, when do people grow? When they have to. When do kids grow up? When they have to. Right? Like, if someone will take care of them forever and wipe their butt and feed them and all that kind of stuff forever, why would they not want to? Right? Like, it's when it's like, okay, now it's time for you to learn. You learn to tie your shoes or you don't. You walk around, tripping around, you learn. And there's something like, what is the point of function of relationships? Like, is to grow. And when do we grow? When we have to. And a lot of times these boundaries are scary. Like, no, actually, I'm sorry, but I actually can't do that. I hear you. I know you need this. I know this is important to you. And it's not something that I can be okay with. And you bring that boundary and you sit with it. And it's this conflict, and you can just sit with it and love and compassion and patience for each other. It may mean the end of the relationship, or it may mean it's time for one or both of you to grow deeply and tremendously. And I can't tell you how many couples that have come to me with these immovable things that then when we get really clear on what they are and clear on the boundaries, tremendous growth happens. And then like tremendous growth in the individuals happen and in the relationships. And then the two are both so thankful to each other, and their appreciation and respect for each other and love for each other grows so deeply and profoundly that it transforms their relationship. And it transformed because someone held the line. Just like you might have to with your kids, right? Like, I love you and I'm do this and I won't do this for you. And it might feel horrible. It might feel like holding this awful line, but there's a huge difference. It's just what I brought in the beginning of like, it's not what you're saying, but how you're saying it. And it's like, yeah, I love you. And I want to be together, and I can't accept this. This just doesn't work for me. I've tried, or whatever it is. And it's a powerful and beautiful thing, and is often the stimulus for deep change.